Is it possible to actually grow a clientele during a freaking pandemic? You bet it is. And in today's video, I'm going to show you exactly how simple it is, but how you might be overcomplicating it completely, which, hello, I'm the queen of overcomplicating. So I'm going to break it down into easy steps that might not blow your mind, but it'll book your chair. So if you want to learn exactly how to do this, why don't you go hit that like button, and while you're here, hit that subscribe, because I come at you with new videos each and every week that you are going to love, that are going to take the stress away so you can be more like this guy and just hang out on the couch more. Here's the deal, is I've built and rebuilt my clientele on 3 different continents and 6 different times. At 31 years old, I moved to a brand new city and province here in Canada and started from scratch knowing no one. So I know how to build a clientele, and I'm gonna show you exactly how to do it with the pandemic in mind. But one of my students, even, Adri, sent me a message saying, Dawn, I don't even have business cards yet, and I already have 2 referrals from what you've taught me. So I'm so excited to share this with you today. Okay, so here's the thing, and this isn't gonna be mind-blowing, but it's gonna be groundbreaking, is that the #1 step to growing a clientele during this pandemic is to just freaking talk to some strangers. Now, I know your defenses might be going up already. Just let's calm down for a second. Or maybe your anxiety is just like, wait, what? You want me to do what? It's not as hard as it seems, and I'm gonna walk you right through it. Oh, you're supposed to be in the background. Okay, so immediately we think talk to strangers, we think this is gonna be uncomfortable, this is gonna be awkward, oh my gosh, like what is she asking me to do? But really it doesn't have to be so overcomplicated. Hello, am I the only one that overcomplicates everything? Please tell me I'm not alone in this. If someone would have told me to just go talk to strangers, Dawn, it's that simple, I would have been like, okay, thanks, bye, I'll go find something else. But I want to break this down really simple to start, and then I'm going to go into the next steps. But this is the most pivotal one, and it really starts with just giving a stranger a compliment. Now, maybe you're going, that's great, but like we're in a pandemic, you realize that I can't just like go meet people. Well, you can still give people compliments. Maybe it's at the grocery store, maybe it's online. These tips and tricks that I give you for your business aren't exclusive to social media, which is what I love, because I don't know about you, but I also have a love-hate relationship with social media. It's a great tool, but also it can be the bane of my existence. It drives me bananas. And so know that talking to strangers can be done anywhere. And so if you're in the grocery store and you can be socially distanced and just be like, excuse me, I just have to let you know that your hair is gorgeous. Or, oh my gosh, I love your shoes. Or, hey, that mask you're wearing is really cool. I haven't seen one like it before. It's really simple, and just start with giving a stranger a compliment. Now, if you're wanting to do this on social media, you can just, leave a comment on someone's post or whatever. Look up a local hashtag and see someone that's the kind of person that you would want in your chair and start connecting with them. This isn't like having to write captions or make stories or come up with a fun post. Literally, it's just creating relationships. So I want you to think of talking to strangers as that simple. Just give someone a compliment, because this is how I exactly invited my first client in ever when I was building a clientele. No pandemic, just out there. I went up to the grocery clerk at the grocery store and I was like, here's my card, I'm a hairstylist, I'd love to do your hair sometime. I was so nervous, like beyond nervous. I was 18 years old. And do you wanna know what came from that? Absolutely nothing. Sorry, there's a hair on my face. Nothing, because I was so nervous, but I had to learn to suck at it first in order to get better. If I wouldn't have done that and felt embarrassed and felt awkward and just gone for it, I would have never got comfortable with it. So the next step is to get uncomfortable. I want you to start talking to strangers and not being weird and awkward about it. Don't be like, the analogy that I use actually with the talking to strangers is like, if someone came up to you at a party and was like, let's go on a date and get married after, even if they were like drop dead gorgeous and the person you want to be with for the rest of your life, you'd find it a little aggressive and abrasive, right? You'd be like, what? But if they got to, if they kind of gave you a smile across the room and then they started chatting with you, and then at the end of the evening, they're like, oh my gosh, you seem so cool. And I don't know, maybe you'd want to go out for coffee or grab a drink sometime. It wouldn't feel so weird. So I want you to remember that when you're talking to strangers to invite them in, to not lead with like, I want to do your hair, even though they might be looking for a stylist, even though they might desperately need their hair done. It might throw them off. It might feel too aggressive. So that's why I say lead with a compliment. And I just leave it there because we'll dive into this deeper another time. But us anxious people get way too in our head and we think, okay, I'll say this and then they'll say this and then I'll say this. But wait, what if they say this and then I'll say this? And we get so in our heads about things that we never actually go do the thing because we're too anxious and overwhelmed by the whole conversation. So all I want you to do is start talking to strangers by giving them a compliment. And so step 2 to building a clientele, first step is talk to strangers. Step 2 is to get uncomfortable. You've got to get uncomfortable. And here's the thing is I've been starting to work out again over this pandemic. I had to stop. And I went downstairs onto my Peloton and I was beating myself up over the last few times being like, what the heck? Why can't I be at where I used to be? And I was feeling like, what's the point of even coming on the bike right now when I'm not even near the shape that I was in? And I had to have a reality check with myself. I was like, Dawn, you're not going to get back to where you were if you don't start where you're at right now. Oh, so not the fun answer that I had to use on myself. And here's the thing, maybe at one point you had new clients flooding in, or maybe you never had to build a clientele, it was handed to you. And now after quarantine, people aren't coming back the way they used to, or people have found somewhere else, or for some reason you find yourself having more openings than you're used to, and you don't know what to do because you're out of practice. And one, you're scared of the thought of having to start over. Now, I want to debunk this myth here right now because there's no such thing as starting over. Building and growing a clientele is something we have to continually do throughout our whole career. But we got in our heads somewhere along the line that it's a linear process, that you go to school, you get a job, you build a clientele, then you increase your prices, you get the promotion, you maybe go out on your own, you start your own salon, and we think it's like these steps to a stairway. But truly, it's a cyclical thing, and attracting new clients is at the epicenter of it. You should always be attracting new clients. Now, great, hindsight, Dawn, would have been great to know last year in preparation, right? But it's never too late to start again. And I use this example of I hadn't needed to get new clientele for a few years, and Nick and I were out for dinner at a pub, and I liked our stylist, our server's hair, and I was like, you know what, it's been a while since I've invited someone in. And I got sweaty palms and I felt like the drip go down my back. I got so nervous because I hadn't done it in a while. It was a muscle I hadn't worked out. It was like getting back on the bike being like, oh, like it used to be so easy. And I almost chickened out. I almost didn't say anything because I'm like, oh, it's too uncomfortable. Me, the person who teaches this stuff. But I was like, if I teach people this stuff, I got to do it too. And I actually choked on my words a little bit because I was so out of practice. And I said, hey, your hair's so cool and you've been a great server. I don't know if you have a stylist or not, but I'd love to get my hands in your hair. And she went, oh, thank you so much. My best friend actually does it, and I get compliments all the time, but I'll definitely let her know that you said that. And I don't view that as a rejection. I got myself uncomfortable. I started exercising that muscle again, and then it got easier and easier. And then just a few weeks ago, I was out at dinner again with a friend, and our server had gorgeous hair, and I said, oh my gosh, I love your hair. I don't know if you need it done, but I would love to get my hands in it. And she was like, immediately, she went, yes, I've been wanting to get my hair done. And I was way more confident that time. So you have to if you're craving confidence to do the things and you're waiting to get the confidence, you have to get uncomfortable first. I know, I wish there was a way around it, but you got to talk to strangers if you want to build fast. Here's the thing, there's no hack or way around it. The shortcut is the work. You got to do the work. So it's not just enough to listen to this video. I know, I am this is my phrase, I'm addicted to learning and allergic to implementing. You too? That's 100% me. I love consuming. I love learning. And then when I have to actually do the thing, I'm like, oh. So kudos to you for watching this video or listening to this podcast, wherever you're tuning into, and diving into this. But now I really want you to take action. That's the next step. So talk to strangers by giving them a compliment. Get uncomfortable and take action. Because here's the thing, you have to play the odds. 8 out of 10 people won't come in to see you. And that's not to discourage you. That's to encourage you to talk to that many people. Now, if you're anything like me, you'll be like, okay, I want 10 clients, so I have to talk to 100 people. Oh my gosh, I can't talk to 100 people today. I'm just not going to do it, right? We overwhelm ourselves. So to take action, I want you to do bite-sized chunks. I want you to commit to giving strangers compliments. I want you to get uncomfortable. And then I want you to commit to doing 10 people by the end of this week. Just 10. Just start there. And know that you'll get more comfortable as it goes. And you'll start to see this snowball effect. If you do 10 people each week, all of a sudden you'll have more and more clients coming in, and it's not so scary. And that, my friend, is as simple as it can be to grow your clientele during this pandemic. You can find people everywhere, whether it's in real life or online. Find people where they hang out and get uncomfortable. Commit. Can you commit to me? Just leave a comment, actually. Yes, if you can, I'm willing to get uncomfortable. So I know. And so not only for me to hold you accountable, for you to be accountable to yourself. It's proven like psychological thing that when we write things down, we commit to ourselves more. So commit to giving some strangers some compliments, to getting uncomfortable, and to actually taking action. Here's the thing is I've grown clientele all around the world. In Canada, the UK, Australia, back in Canada, built my own business, and then moved across the country and built from scratch at 31 years old. I know my stuff, not because I have secrets, but because I've done it so many times, the trial and error, so I know what to leave out. So if you want to dive even deeper into this, I actually have my client attraction playbook, which is 100% free, that you can get in the link below, which is going to help you so much and give you the tactical step-by-steps that I used to build my clientele from scratch in under 12 weeks. I was booked months in advance in a city where I knew no one. So if I can do it, this shy, anxious, awkward, weirdo girl, I know you can do it right now. So I can't wait to connect with you. Leave me a comment if you're committed, if you're struggling, if you've got any questions. I want to get to know how I can help you more. But thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll talk to you very soon. Walter agrees.